Here is a video about how to identify corals by their life form and measure their length. This video has been developed by Hanziko and team in the Bangsuring water of Indonesia. We will practice using the line intercept transect method, or LIT for short, to identify coral that are intercepted by a 30-meter long measuring tape. We will start with the first 6-meter length. First, a 30-meter long measuring tape was unrolled above the coral reef. We will measure length of each coral life form in every centimeter. Then, the front end of the tape has been tied to massive coral, which is about 37 centimeters in length. As we follow along the centimeter and meter marks on the measuring tape, we find rubble at 37 to 72 centimeters. And next, we find an encrusting coral type from 72 centimeter to 79 centimeters. After that, we find a massive coral type from 79 to 91 centimeters. As shown on the video, the massive coral is 12 centimeters long. After this first coral colony, followed rubble from 91 to 114 centimeters. So, the rubble separates the coral colony for 23 centimeters. After we pass the rubble, we find coral encrusted with coralline alga for 16 centimeter lengths. From 114 to 130 centimeters. We find digitated coral from 130 to 149 centimeters, alongside a massive coral. We find two types of coral, digitated coral and massive coral, for this colony from 149 to 166 centimeters. After some rubble, the next colony is encrusting coral from 166 to 178 centimeters. Next, we find dead coral with alga from 178 to 184 centimeters. The next part of dead coral with alga is 12 centimeters long, going from the 193 to 205 centimeters. We passed encrusting coral from 205 to 208 centimeters. Then, acropore encrusting from 208 to 218 centimeters. After that, dead coral with alga follows for 17 centimeter length, up to 235 centimeters. Water separates this colony with 6 centimeter length, up to 241 centimeter. Then foliose coral, also known as plate coral, follows up to 266 centimeters. Then, before the dead coral with alga, we find water with 2 centimeter length, 2 digitated coral for 4 centimeters, up to 272 centimeters. The dead coral with alga is 28 centimeters long, ending at 290 centimeters, and followed by an acropore submassive coral with alga at 290 to 310 centimeters. There is a gorgonian coral for 2 centimeters up to 314 centimeters. Then we found water from 314 to 320 centimeters. The next colony started with soft coral for 14 centimeters, from 320 to 334 centimeters. The soft coral is next to the encrusting coral for 31 centimeters up to 365 centimeters. For this time, the sand separates from these coral colonies for 6 centimeters. A cropper submassive coral then appeared for 14 centimeters from 371 to 385 centimeters. After that, we find an acropore submassive coral with ascidians from 385 to 409 centimeters. And then encrusting coral for 17 centimeters up to 426 centimeters. After 14 centimeters rubble, we find an acropore submassive coral with ascidians for 25 centimeters length up to 465 centimeters. This is followed by an acropore submassive coral up to 501 centimeters. We find encrusting coral and foliage coral respectively for 8 and 7 centimeters up to 516 centimeters. Rubble separates these coral colonies again for 14 centimeters up to 530 centimeters. Then we found an acropore submassive coral that is 15 centimeters long up to 545 centimeters. And for the remaining 55 centimeters of this practice video, we find dead coral with alga to the 6-meter length. So for now, you can use this narrated part to practice your skill in the rest of the video. Good luck.